Hello, everyone. Hey, it's Friday. Had the traveling wheelberries on right before I went live on this. So, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Trust you're doing good. And hey, made it through another glorious week. Thank you, Adriel. Saw that. How is everyone? Emperor Rex, how are you? Namaset to you, my friend. Zodical, good to see you. Tina, hello. The occultus. By the way, how many of you know what an occultus is? You'd be surprised how many don't. Material Classified, how you doing down there in Houston? Claire, hello. Gilbert, hey, Cheesesteak, how you doing? Glenn, Richard, Sierra, hello. Robin, hello to you. Monkey Experiment, hello. Joyce, hello. How are you doing? Stuart, Doris, Lisa, hey, Sherry, hey, Brian, how you doing, my friends? Hey, Mary, good to see you, my dear. Much love to you, hon. Consciously aware? How the heck are you? I love that. Uh, Jerry, hello. And Patrick, how are you, my good friend? Lost in space. I've been accused of that most of my life. So, Big D, how are you doing? Good to see y'all. Isabel, how are you? There's Michigan, Christopher. Man, lots of us in here. How is everybody? I don't know about you. This week, I don't know, in a lot of ways was, wow, I just kind of challenging. Maybe it was just moi, but I don't think so. And when these attacks come in, many of us are beginning to recognize it. The thing about empaths and intuitives, adapts is what I really look at us more as. I find more adapts here than anything else. And, most of our lives, we take in far more energy than most people do. And we have a tendency to internalize that. And, if you really don't know what's going on, it really lends itself to be just a confusing mess. Your emotions are all in a whirl. And, once the emotions start getting going and, that just causes a vortex will pull in anything and everything around it. That goes as well for an emotional vortex. Yeah. And so often when we get into these places, because of where we're already at in the negative polarity, we just end up pulling more crap right down on top of us. And, it becomes a cycle. And we don't need that. We don't. That's why I invoke favor upon you all. I invoke favor on you right now. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Full restoration to the soul. I am convinced if all of us, if we got a full soul restoration, you know what I mean? I mean, just a colonic that just flushes the crap right out of our spirits, our soul, our thinking, and just have that magical process take place. I'll tell you what, wouldn't that be something? And regrettably, it's not that easy. Love it to be, but it's not. I was reading today that another take on our origin, another one from an abductee, someone had sent to me. And, I was reading kind of what his testimony was of his recounting of the events that took place over his life. And I think he was close to 50. And anyways, a very interesting story to hear how he says the aliens, ET, told him what was going on. The big thing here is it all reverts right down to this. We're we're apparently just, what can I say? Just in a trap. I got Elvis Presley in my head, Suspicious Minds. We can't go on together with suspicious minds. And I think so often that's what happens to us when you get down this quest of a seeker. I mean, the thing you got to guard yourself against is becoming, so freaking cynical. It just, it can get that way. You got to keep it full. So full restoration on us all. That's where I see. We're going to talk today about something I'm seeing. And some people mask it, but inevitably, if you write in this community, we can see it. We can sense many times your words. It allows us to see past your veil. And, there's many in our community that are hurting. Regrettably, it's life paths. The beyond. Yeah, I have seen that, Zora. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's cool. I was just reading Robin's comment. So we can sense that. And there's a lot of people hurting. I want to let everyone know is a word you need to be aware of. And when you see it manifesting, hopefully not in yourself, but it can, but in others, is despair. When a soul, a spirit, gets into the place of despair, it's a dark place. It's a place, I've been there. Many of us have. You don't want to go there. It'll suck you dry, baby. Talk about sucking the joy right out of the room. Despair will do that. It will literally make you sick. It is the antithesis of hope when you fall into despair. And many people put on a good front. They're trying. And we're here to help support them. And when I see this, I'm often reminded, my spirit guides, as to what I'm here for. And, never hire a guide who's never gone down the path. You hear me? Someone needs to hear that. Never hire a guide who's never gone down the path. It'll get you in trouble. And many people do. They hitch their wagon up to the wrong horse. And when that horse gets a pulling, you're going, holy crap. So we're going to talk about how to combat despair. You can come on. We're in a time now where the intensity of emotions are going to be just that much more intense. And again, if you're a sensitive and you haven't learned that discipline, well, we're going to get you some pointers today to get you out there. Hey, here's one for you. I've got the definition of God. Now, I'm watching. Hey, Brian, do me a favor, buddy. I see you're in there. So kind of take a little poll with everybody. Tell me what God, let's use God as an acronym. What does God stand for? And I'm going to just kind of throw it out there. Here, Eric, how you doing, buddy? We're going to get Eric on here. Eric's got a good story. He's like Brian's. Folks, this stuff works. It's not BSing, man. It's not some eschatology, metaphysical, make you feel good, blow sunshine up your skirt and go, wee, stuff. No, this is serious stuff. If you want serious change, you're going to have to get serious about change. That's just as plain and simple as it can be. If you're going to play it as a game, change will never be. You'll be playing the blame game. And that's all too often what happens. So I like that. Good orderly direction. Zora, that's pretty cool. Gold, oil, and diamonds. I like that. All right, girl with no name, send me an email and I'm going to send you out something. Guardian of Divinity. She got it. She nailed it. Yeah. Doesn't that put it in a different frame? Now, when someone says, do you believe in God? You don't have to retort and say, which God? You can absolutely say, I 100% affirm the guardian of divinity. I love it. Talk about making your yeses, yeses and your noes, noes, huh? Oh, yeah, yeah. Guarding our divinity. So generated omnipotent deity. Hey, I like that, Patrick. That's pretty cool. But doesn't that put it in a whole different respect? I'm going to tell you, when Patrick and I do our show next Tuesday, Talking with the Planets, guardian of divinity. Hell, folks, that just makes as much sense as I've ever seen. When you step in a pile of BS, you smell it. Well, this one has no smell to it. So I think it's pretty good. Well, girl with no name, send that. We'll read it if you like. We'll put it up here. Hey, speaking of which, we've got people in our community that are very talented. We spoke yesterday about Mary's sister, Lunar Vacation. Love them, love them, love them. They got a great sound. I'm going to tell you what, I've heard a lot of sounds. They got a sound. They got a sound that with the right type of promotion, Mary, they could really go places. I don't know if they've recorded any more songs, but hey, so this is Blazinriver. How many of y'all seen Blazinriver? I'm going to play a little bit of his song. I think that this one's kind of appropriate in many. We won't go through the whole thing, but I want to introduce to you now, when you see Blazin in the chat room, you now can put his talent and add it to the essence of the community. Here we go, folks. So, Blazinriver, my friend.
Shadows on the wall, remind me of you all. You never paid me no mind, 'cause I wasn't one of your kind. Had a vision, no. I just hung around saying low, wait for the day when you magic show. Round and round we go, on we go, magic show. Round and round we go, never knowing, just let go. Oh, just let go. Say I'm silly for one dream. Say I'm silly, what do you mean? We're all so tired of the same old hand down world we're living in. So come on and take a stand. Grab the names by the hand. Show the world who we truly are. The best angel, God fall round and round we go. On we go, magic show. Round and round we go. Never knowing, just let go.
Just let go, baby. Hey, I'm going to tell you what, I just think that is just, oops, give me 1 second here. I want to get him on. I want to get man, if you're in the arts, because listen, it's difficult. I know it. And I'm going to leave a link. Listen, Jerry, I mean, Blaze, you only have like 31 subscribers. I think we can do much, much better than that. So, folks, hey, give them a hand. I'll tell you what, that's just some good stuff. I don't know. I got a little tint of Arlo Guthrie in there. Just, I absolutely, you see, folks, we got talent here. Now I know that Blazin is hurting, you know, he's kind of looking for, well, what do I do? You know, we have the ability within this group to begin to elevate people. So I want to get some musicians on here, maybe do a benefit for them. You know, we do ones for Warrior Queen on her food pantry. We're going to get her back on. There's some fundraisers that we can do. And, you know, I often say this, you know, if $1 from every person were to go to sometimes these people that really are looking for that little, they're not looking for a handout, they're looking for a hand up. And it's amazing what we can do where it doesn't take a lot. So, hey, get over there. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Good to see you. So way to go, buddy. You hang in there, my friend. Just, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, tonight, got Doc Ram on. It's going to be fun. We're going to, one thing about Doc, it's never, never boring. So, all right, let's get into some of the meat of this matter. I want to start, let me see. We're going to start right here. One of the key things that all of us we all have to do it. I mean, if you don't do it this time through, it may very well be that you're going to have to come through again. Now, one of the things I was reading today about this abductee, he says that you only have 10 times through. If you don't get it by the 10th time, you're out of there, buddy. You're just, you know. So, Blazin, my man, love you, dude. You've got talent. Never underestimate yourself, my friend. We're going to get you out there, and we'll get some people out there. You got a voice, you got a song, and you got talent. So there you go. So yeah, that's all I can say. Discipline of the mind. I have had times in my life where someone tried to take my life. I'm sure I'll meet them on the other side. I'm just going to laugh at them and say you failed. And then there have been times in my life that where you get so depressed that you look at the option of an exit of your own doing. And, you know, I'm not here to discuss the pros or cons of the topic. What I am here to talk about is that when you get to that place, that dark place where you don't see an option, that's when boy, how can I say this? That's when you're going to find out who is really strong, disciplined of mind. Now, I'm not saying anything about people that go there. Throughout my career, have worked with organizations back in the middle 80s. We did a lot of work. Billy Joel was a part of the project called Kudo, Kids Under 21, and it was for teenage prevention of suicide. It's always been a problem. It's always been around us. And I wish that there could be that breakthrough of light, that moment of reasoning for those tormented into that point, and it is torment. You know, when you, it's that vortex thing. And it's very difficult. And when things begin to spiral out of control, you don't start building your house in the middle of a hurricane. Not going to work. So let's talk about how we can defend against despair. Despair is a spirit. I hope you know by now that in the spirit realm, they have a name. Because of the attractness of the life force of Earth, we have many entities here, some that are not of here, most of them are not. They've set up kingdoms, hierarchies, principalities, and you'll find out that we are so often merely sheep for the slaughter. They prey on us. And there seems to be an influx now. Unlike I've ever seen. I've been talking to some interesting individuals that have agreed with that. And I have a raven outside that was told me that that would happen. So I got the sign. All right, cool. But now he won't shut up as long as he doesn't bring a friend. But so one of the books, and I have it on PDF, we did some readings in his book months and months ago. But we're going to get into a little bit of Franz's book here. This is Franz Barden, Introduction for the Initiate. Actually, it's the initiation into Hermetics. Thought control, discipline of thoughts, and the subordination of thoughts. As you begin to untangle yourself from the fear matrix, and for many, for myself, it was my religion. It ties you in knots. It's just what it does. But as I look back and examine my life, I mean, it's very well evident how so much of my decisions were predicated upon a fear factor. A fear that I could neither define, but a fear that was fed into me every day. Because the problem is that when you're drinking the juice, you're not aware of the arsenic that's being laced with it. You can't taste it. So the idea is to get your mind so focused into one thing and one thing only, and that's how reprogramming starts. But when you walk out of that God spell, the matrix, however you want to define it, you're left with a whole lot of challenges. A whole lot of challenges. You don't have that support structure anymore. That's what makes it so nice. We are creatures of social beings. We like being around other beings. And that's why clubs, societies, churches, assemblies were attracted to that. Regrettably, so often now when I go into it, I can spot the hurting souls. They all have the telltale signs. So the first thing in understanding magic is not defined as voodoo, hoodoo. Magic is something that we do every day. We live in a magical universe. I mean, whoever created this matrix, you have to admit, has to have a very interesting mind. I mean, I personally think it's a little messed up, but no, not a little, whole bunch. But I'm sure that when I get my chance back at him, or it, not him, it's it, I've seen it. It has, there's no gender to it, folks. But to question. And there's nothing wrong in questioning. If you don't learn to question over here, whoop, baby, it ain't going to be pretty for you on the other side, honey. So take a seat in a comfortable chair or lie down and relax. Relax your whole body. I can do it now mentally, but I still go through a little breathing exercise, lowers the heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, lowers everything, gets you into a more alpha state of mind. Close your eyes and observe a train of your thoughts for 5 minutes. Now, it's remarkable. I know a couple of people who actually did this, took my advice and got serious about it. You know how fast it took for things to change in their life? Less than 30 days. Now, when you think that it's taking you years to get you where you are right now, 30 days is like, cutting in line. Yeah. Trying to retain it. Now, what that means is for 5 minutes, set a timer, whatever, your oracle, the God that you worship, that little black device, yes, you worship it. Don't tell me you don't. Some people say, that offends me. Well, you know what? I don't like being next to it either, but damn it. How do you get away from it? I turn mine off most time during the day. I had someone tell me, then what's the use of having, a phone? I said, what is it that someone needs to talk to me about? I mean, right now I'm in an intense time of reading. I've just heard Amazon to come back. They're bringing me a half dozen more new books. But I've got already 4 here plus 2 out. Folks, I've got some stuff here. I'm not going to do it really quick. Whoopsie. I think we're going to, you know what? The best way to beat the house is to become part of the house. So try listing your thoughts for 5 minutes. It is hard, folks. It's damn hard. At first, you will find that they are rushing up to you thoughts concerning everyday affairs, professional worries, and the likes. Take the behavior of a silent observer towards these trains of thoughts, freely and independently. I've had a couple people write me and say, well, how does one begin to astral project? Here it is. Yeah. According to mentality and the mental situation you happen to be in at the moment, this exercise will be more or less easy for you. The main point is not to forget yourself, not to lose the train of thoughts, but to pursue it attentively. Beware of falling asleep while doing this exercise. It's the thing, it'll happen to you. I'm just going to tell you. And many people, if this happens for the first time, remark that they never felt more rested. Oh, it's yeah. Now, if you begin to feel tired, stop instantly and postpone the exercise to another time. When you intend not to give in to tiredness, boy, the body doesn't like this. The Indians sparkle cold water on their faces or rub down the face and upper parts of their bodies to remain brisk and not waste precious time. Now, I have a little trick that I use. Keep a bowl of ice cubes, and if you feel yourself beginning to drift off, push your hand down into those ice cubes. You'll be attentive. Trust me. Now, do some deep breathing before you begin. You will also prevent tiredness and sleepiness. Why? Is because you're removing excess carbon dioxide out of you. And then that replaces and oxygenates your body. As time goes on, each disciple will find out such little tricks by himself. And this is what I learned. And you know what? I failed many times at this. And I was at a time, I was my accuser. Oh boy, I could accuse myself. What's the matter with you, Steiger? You can't stay awake for, yeah, yeah. This exercise of controlling thoughts has to be undertaken in the morning or at night. Now, I disagree with Franz on this. I can do it in the middle of the afternoon, but that's only because I've practiced this for years. When I was a CEO of my technology company, one of the things that we did is that we had a room where the employees could go in and take a nap. They could meditate. It was designed specifically allow the person to get into that rhythm, and the productivity increased dramatically. So it's something that really, I happen to disagree with Franz. I think this can be done in the middle of the day. So it is to be extended each day by 1 minute to allow the train of thoughts to be pursued and controlled without the slightest digression for a time of 10 minutes, at least after a week's training. So once you've gotten this down, you've started becoming good at it, you can begin to add another minute to it. This space of time is destined to the average man. If it should not suffice, everyone can extend it according to his own perception. In any event, it's advisable to proceed very consciously because it is of no use to hurry. Development being quite individual in men, on no account go further before the preceding exercise is perfectly under control. Most people don't want to do that. They, by nature of our society and our culture, we're the shake and bakes. Yeah, plug and play, baby. Um, the attentive disciple will realize how, at the beginning, thoughts rush onto him, how rapidly they pass before him, so that he will have difficulty to regulate a lot of the manifold thoughts. But from one exercise to the next, he will state that thoughts come up less chaotic, moderating little by little, until it lasts only for a few thoughts emerge in his consciousness, arriving, as it were, from a far distance. The keenest attention ought to be given to this work of thought control, as it is very important for magic development. In fact, that everyone will realize later on. Providing that the mentioned exercise has been thoroughly worked through, and everyone has completed the command of its practice, let us pass over to the mental training. Up to now, you've learned to control our thoughts. The next exercise will consist is not giving away in your mind to thoughts obtruding themselves on your mind, unwanted and obstinate. For instance, we must be able not to occupy ourselves any longer with the task and the worries of our profession when we come home from work and return to the family circle in privacy. All thoughts not belonging to our privacy must be set aside. We ought to manage to become quite a different personality instantly. And just the other way around. In our job, all thoughts have to be concentrated in it exclusively, and we must not allow them to digress or wander home to private affairs or elsewhere. This is a very disciplined mind. This has to be practiced time and time again until it is developed into a habit, typically 21 days. Above all, one ought to accustom oneself to achieve whatever one does with full consciousness, whether in professional work or in private, regardless whether the point is a big one or a trifle one. This exercise should be kept for a lifetime because it is sharpening the mind and strengthening the consciousness and the memory. I'm going to stop right there because there's more that I want to cover. But I think it's suffice to say that you can see in this case where Franz is really getting at is learning to compartmentalize your thoughts. Now, this is a shortcut that I learned. When I started doing these exercises, what I found was that they're like neutrinos. Boom, 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 boom. They're coming in everywhere. that's how my mind works. Many of yours is the same way. And when we begin to look at this, it's like, well, how do I control my thoughts? Now, this is leading to something. I mean, if you're in a place where despair is setting in, I'm going to teach you how you can begin to quiet these thoughts, because that's what you have to do. You've got to become quiet. I built in my mind a place where I was in the place that I call my dwelling place. It's a marvelous place, but I can construct in my mind a place that is on a flat plane. Black onyx is what it is. And what I began to see these thoughts as they were coming in, that I had to begin to figure out how to put them into a place that they're no longer hindering my discipline of mind. And so I built myself a room. Literally in my mind, I built this thing, made it out of 2x4s, made it full of drywall, made a door on it, double latched lock. And as I set my chair, focusing simply on a single thought, and that's where you eventually get, when they come through, now they go directly into this room. And the thing that when we begin to learn about thoughts is this, folks, the thoughts that you have forgotten, they're in the oblivion. I know many people think there's this record, and there may or may not be, but it seems to be the thought of other masters that those thoughts go into the oblivion. You know, if you take the approach that thoughts are like essences of life, your life, well, you don't want to make that life going into oblivion. You want to keep it. So anyway, there we go. That is the other lesson here. So let's talk about something, right? I want to ask you some questions here. Why is one man sad and another man happy? Why is one man joyous and prosperous and another man poor and miserable? Why is one person fearful and anxious and another full of faith and confidence? Why does one person have a beautiful, luxurious home while another person lives out in meager existence, if not homeless altogether? Why is one person a great success and another one an abject failure? Why is one speaker outstanding and immensely popular and another mediocre and unpopular? Why is one person a genius in their work or profession while another one toils and moils all his life without doing or accomplishing anything worthwhile? Why is one person healed of so-called incurable diseases and another one isn't? Why is it that one lives a long life with no respect to one's body, yet the one who respects the body dies the youngest? Why is it that so many kind, good people suffer the tortures of the damned in their mind and body? Why is it that many immortal and irreligious people succeed and prosper and enjoy radiant health? Why is one woman happily married and her sister very unhappy and frustrated? Is there an answer to these questions? Yes, there is. Folks, the only way I can tell you this is, I know that this is not, the exciting stuff. Typically, hard work, most people tend to stay away from. It's just the way it is. What I'm talking about here is discipline. And most people don't want it. If you ever want to become a master of your spirit, be recognized when you pass over as a master, you best start learning these techniques here. I'm trying to communicate something to you, but And as to how one takes it, it's up to them. And there is so much undoing. We live in such a controlled matrix. One of the things that I am seeing, and my guides are telling me that is becoming a real problem, is what we're doing to ourselves. We have become a society that is addicted to pharmaceuticals. We're preyed upon by big pharma. They prey on us on reprogramming techniques every day by the commercialization of them introducing you a new drug. Remember things, all drugs are chemical compounds. All chemical compounds will have an effect on this chemical compound. And regrettably, we're becoming much more prone to this. I read an article today that, guess what? The drugs that they have been feeding us, and virtually half of the population is on some form of either antidepressant, anti-anxiety, it just goes on and on and on, type of drug. And now there's a shortage, which is giving people that depend on the anti-anxiety to become anxious. It's a freaking mousetrap. Anyway, it's true, folks. I'm not lying to you. So I want to share something with you. This was sent to me. I have this, and I have her permission to send this out. She put together what I think is a great map for prosperity. Now, prosperity works. Folks, I was in a religion and a sect of it that I know this shit works. I know it for a fact. Seen it, experienced it. Now, once you realize that it's not got nothing to do with God, or God playing a banker, or basically, God being the roulette table, you pay him 10, he'll pay you back 100. But it does work. So I have this, if anyone wants this, write in your notebook on the first day and sign, this day, your name. I cease believing in visible money as my supply and my support. And I view the world of effect as it truly is, simply as an outpicturing of my former beliefs. I believed in the power of money, therefore I surrendered my God-given power and authority to an objectified belief. I believe in the possibility of lack, thus causing a separation in consciousness from the source of my supply. I believe in mortal man and carnal conditions, and through this faith gave man and conditions power over me. I believe in the mortal illusion created by the collective consciousness of error thoughts, and in doing so, I have limited the unlimited. No more. This day, I renounce my so-called humanhood and claim my divine inheritance as a being of God. This day, I acknowledge God and only God as my substance, my supply, my source, and my support. Guardian of divinity. The universe is not any lack, folks. Remember, the ether is infinity. Then use an affirmation a day and repeat 3 additional times for a total of 40 days. Memorize and meditate upon each affirmation twice a day. Make notes of any thoughts that come to you. Now, I like her approach. God is lavish, unfailing, abundance, the rich omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. I lift up my mind and heart to be aware, to understand, and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and the substance of all my good. I am conscious of inner presence of my lavish abundance. I am conscious of the constant activity of the mind of infinite prosperity. Therefore, my mind is filled with the light of truth. I love this. Through my consciousness of my God self, the Christ within as my source, I bring into my mind and feeling nature the very substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. Thus, my consciousness of the presence of God within me is my supply. Money is not my supply. No person, place, or condition is my supply. My understanding and knowledge of all providing activity of the divine within me is my supply. My consciousness of this truth is unlimited. My inner supply instantly and constantly takes on form and experiences based on my needs and desires as the principle of supply and action. It is impossible for me to have any needs or unfulfilled desires. The divine consciousness that I am is forever expressing its true nature of abundance. This is its responsibility, not mine. My only responsibility is to remain aware of this truth. Therefore, I am totally confident in letting go and letting God appear as abundant as all sufficiency in my life and in my affairs. My consciousness of spirit within me as my unlimited source is the divine power to restore the years the locusts have eaten. It makes all things new and places me on a high road of abundant prosperity. This awareness, understanding, and knowledge of spirit appears as every visible form and experience I could possibly desire. When I'm aware of the God self within me as my total fulfillment, I am fulfilled. I am now aware of the truth. I have found the secret of life, the knowledge that the activity of divine abundance is eternally operating in my life. I simply have to be aware of the flow, the radiation, that creativity, which is continuously, easily, and effortlessly pouring forth from my divine consciousness. I am now aware. I am now in the flow. I keep my mind and my thoughts off this world. I place my entire focus on the divine presence within as the only cause of my prosperity. I acknowledge the inner presence as the only activity in my financial affairs, as the substance of all things. I place my faith in the principle of abundance in action within me. Now that's just damn cool, folks. I don't care what anyone says. Confession brings possession. It does. You are where you are today because of the words you spoke yesterday. And the words that you speak are generated by the self-image that you have of your core image. And if your core image is one of lack, can't get a break, buddy, can you loan me a dime type of mentality, well, that's exactly what you're going to bring to pass. Those principles I just read are all the Hermetic principles. If you don't remember the Hermetic principles, then I don't know what you're using as a baseline. We may need to go over this again. I don't want to see any of us without lack. Listen, there are a couple of people here that I've got to tell you that are just Brian, Milky Way Weekly, Eric Green, people that you see in this chat room, part of this community. I know others whose lives have been completely changed. They're happier. They've learned some things. And it didn't happen overnight. I'm just telling you, we can do it here. Okay. Well, I know, like, it wasn't, this is probably some pretty deep things. Now, if you're into magic, I will tell you that it's where your belief systems are. That's really where it comes down to. And I try to make people aware that there are many different things. There are spells that you can do, and what I'm trying to show you here, all of this is all the same. Whether you're invoking a spell of protection, a chant of protection, purification spell, beauty. I mean, listen, magic is nothing more than the reflection of the individual that's invoking his or her creative talent. That's all it is. That's all magic is. To become a wizard, to become a high priestess, I mean, a priestess of your own self, a wizard of your own self. Learn this. You never want to dominate anyone or anything, ever. And when you cross over, even in this realm, when you meet those spirits, and there's some nasty ones, there's some covetous ones, but demand their legal authority over you. Show it. They'll have to make a presence to you. That's why you can get in a place where you wake up and there's no thoughts. Quiet. It's quite peaceful. Yeah. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap it up. Going to get ready for Doc Ram. It's going to be exciting. No doubt about it. Hope this week we've learned some things. I'm off on another reading marathon, and we'll continue to convey what I find out. And I hope it's helping. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, spending your hour with me. I know you've got other choices. Thank you for building this community, and be good to yourself. Start invoking blessings on yourself. And then you're going to find out that when you start invoking the blessings, favor upon others, it has a pure source to run through. And it really just becomes really condensed and really focused. If you're in despair, remember there is hope. Speak to the despair. The hardest thing to do when a person is really depressed and can't communicate, don't let them paint you into that corner. If you've got to fight, you scream, "Where is your authority?" They've got none. All right. Appreciate all of you. You're the best. Thank you for enriching my life. We'll see you later. Thanks all. Hey, listen, get over there and subscribe to Blazinriver. Come on, get over there. There's no reason why any of you have YouTube channels that we can't all be subscribers of that. All right, folks, be good to you. This is the family that we're building. I appreciate all of you. And you're right, Robin. Don't let that bastard get you down. I love you, man. All right, folks, y'all be good. We'll talk to you this evening. Bye-bye.